Roberto. Hi, Lindsay. Hi, Sharon. Sophia
Hi,
Soda
hi,
with the
hi.
Nerds of
Hi, Sophia.
Color. So
Hello.
nice to speak with all of you today. Thank you so much for your time.
A pleasure. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Pleasure. So, Roberto and Lindsay, I want to start with you, and we are going to be talking spoilers of episode one. So, feel free to say whatever you want, and we're going to
Okay,
hold it till after that.
great.
Oh,
Can you
good.
Of course, I got you guys. Can you talk to me about deciding that you were going to have A be captured and arrested rather than finding a new way to continue that storyline? And was that always the plan, or did that come as you were handling season two?
That's a really good question. I mean,
Thank
I
you.
think one of the biggest discussions, and Lindsay, I'll jump in, but
Please.
that Lindsay and I had after season one and after we'd gotten renewed for season two was, are we going to continue with A as our villain the way Michael Myers continues to be the villain in Halloween and Jason continues to be the villain in Friday the 13th, 2 through infinity. And one of the things Lindsay and I said was that in those movies, it's the killer who is the continuity. Every movie you meet a new group of teenagers. But for our show, the teen girls, the pretty little liars, they're the continuity. So we thought, oh, let's put the challenge of introducing a new villain. That said, we loved A. We loved the actor who played A,
Yes.
and we didn't want to kill them off. So we then kind of like landed on pretty early on in the writer's room a gonzo opening that killed a bunch of people
Of
and
course.
and ended with a SWAT team capturing A. I mean, and by the way, it's like that we did land on pretty early in the writer's room, and it was like, this is great.
Definitely. Definitely. We also loved sort of keeping A out there as a threat. So while this cast of characters are grappling with a new horror villain, we're still stressed because A is a superhuman being, and who knows what A might do while he's awaiting, his execution.
If there's a serial killer slasher villain who's alive somewhere, they're probably gonna come back. Like they don't
Absolutely.
survive to not come back.
Yeah. Unless you see a body, and sometimes
That's true.
even then they come
Even
back.
then,
So
even
That's
then.
really,
right.
that's the rule, right?
Yeah.
Sharon, I also want to talk with you about your character. Can you tease what you consider to be the biggest moment for Sydney this season?
Oh, the
I
teaser's
know that's a hard question.
loud, right? I know. It's like well, I don't know. I think, they're obviously when you see them at the beginning of season two, everyone's just high stress. I think Sydney's just like, is everyone okay kind of thing, right? Everybody's PTSD is on high levels. And so this is hopefully, I feel like the tone is, and you'll see it when you watch the second season, just the way it looks, it's vibrant. You're hoping that the girls have come out of this dark place and into the sun, and she's just there to go, I'm happy you don't hate me, and you support me, and be on your way. Oh, and by the way, finish last semester,
Right?
get
Mhm.
get back on track.
Get back on track. We're done now.
But just also just
Yes.
one thing just to jump in there. One of our favorite scenes is actually comes in episode one, and one of the most beautiful
Perfect.
scenes is Sidney and
Imogen.
Imogen by Imogen's mom's grave.
Yes.
And that is that I remember like seeing, I think you were there, Lindsay,
Yeah.
and I saw the dailies and I was like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. Like the sunset and everything. And then
Mhm.
the work that Sharon and Bailey did was so beautiful. So it that was one of my, like someone earlier was asking, one of my favorite scenes in the early episodes. That's one of mine.
Agree. I think that was such a beautiful scene, and the work you did, Sharon, with Bailey. It's, Imogen is a character who lost her mother, and Sydney's a character who already has a daughter. She's a single mom. She's a hard worker, and yet she took in another teenager, and she's really been a mother to her. And Imogen, I think her journey is to try to find her mom. And through the season, I think she realizes she has one. She has a family at home, and that family's with the Hayworths. And I think, Sharon, that warmth that you have and that love that you have just always exudes and wraps these girls up so nicely. And one other just really fun moment, because I don't think that we've done this yet, was coming up in our finale, I want to say, I don't know that we'd had a scene with you yet, Sharon, with all the PLLs all together, sort of. So there's a really great, fun, energetic scene of Tabby bringing all of her friends over into the house, charging in the house with you like, I'm trying to watch my stories.
A rom-com.
I'm just trying to watch a rom-com. You guys should watch a rom-com for a change.
Right?
No more horror movies.
Right.
So good.
Yes. That's awesome.
Well, Sharon, they gave me new material for a new question. Talk to me about filming that scene in episode 1. I mean, like they said, it stuck with me. It was such a beautiful moment. Tell me about filming it and what you want to come across to audiences in that moment.
Well, I think they said it well. I think just if you think about, you know, a young girl losing her mother, and I think I love that Sidney was picked to take her in, and the weight of that, the gravity of that, and those scenes are really easy to do because, I mean, Bailey Madison is fantastic, and I think also, yeah, it's just a lot of heart. It's just there's, you know, I think Sidney does sort of represent the love and, you know, the kind of safe space, and I love playing that, and I hope that resonates. Absolutely.
Well, amazing work, all of you. Thank you so much for your time again, and have a great rest of your day.
Directors, comments and the lectures, fanboys, professional artists and professors. Maybe a nerd who's just like you, talking about the things that you like too. So I invite you to the NOC. In full color, you see me. The Hard Knock Life, comics, movies, and TV. Yeah, pop culture with a different perspective. Watch it on your screen, hit play, so check this.